Compostable food scraps are one of the best and readily available sources of organic materials for home composting. Joining us with tips on how to compost kitchen food scraps is Shari Petrucci from the Western Mass Master Gardener Association. Shari, this is a concept that's been actually available for a very long time, but it's really becoming more and more mainstream.
Right. For centuries, people would create their own compost piles. It's just a technology, a backyard garden technology that got lost for a while in the pristine suburbs of the 50s, and it's coming back because we have so much waste, and we're trying to reduce the amount of waste going into our landfills, making our own dirt, and which is organic and great for gardening, and resurfacing our lawns with it and things like that.
Right, so instead of throwing it away and throwing it into the trash, we can reuse it and use it to our benefit.
Right, why go buy a bag of dirt when you've got everything you need at home to make your own dirt?
So you can use it to plant your flowers, to have your garden,
vegetable gardens, yep, starting seeds. Definitely. There's different ways of starting your composting your kitchen scraps. I just use the most economical thing. You know, I just recycle plastic coffee bins, and they're airtight. You do want to make sure that your bins are airtight, and it's got to be big enough to hold enough scraps, but small enough to store in your kitchen.
Right.
Okay. And like this, I would store underneath the counter. There are some very beautiful, pretty models out there that you can buy that look absolutely gorgeous on your counter if you have the counter space.
But wouldn't it start to get smelly?
No, they actually are designed where the moisture can evaporate through, but the odors do not go through.
Oh, okay.
And this one too is designed to let moisture evaporate, but not odors come through. This is so airtight that nothing comes through. And I throw in a piece of a napkin or something every now and then just to absorb moisture.
Okay.
You want to make sure they are airtight though, because you don't want fruit flies flying around in your house, because that's one of the things that will happen. Yeah.
And those are a pain to get rid of, so yeah, you want to avoid that. Once you fill up the small container that's in your kitchen, then where do you empty it?
Well, I keep a 5-gallon bucket that I got from a hardware store. It used to have some paint in it. It's just one of those large white plastic buckets with a lid that also is airtight. And when that's full, then I take a hike over to my compost bin and dump it in there, and put the brown materials, the grass clippings, the mulch, leaves, and give it a good covering and a little bit of a stir, and then just leave it, let it bake. Yeah.
And it just sits there and it composts, and then you can use it in your yard, and then you're also not wasting all of the food.
You're not wasting. Let's talk about the materials that you can
let's do that.
Compost from your kitchen, like banana peels, leftover fruit and vegetable scraps. You know how you cut the ends off the celery and things like that. Don't throw it away. Break it up and put it in here. Make sure you crush your eggshells, and that's we also have
well, like grains. I wouldn't think to put grains in there. And
like the last of your cereal. Say you've got this much cereal left in a box and you don't want to throw it away, but
it's not going to fill the bowl up.
It's not going to fill the bowl up, right? You can just toss that right in there. Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Bread, I mean, a lot of times we save it to feed the ducks, but you can throw that in there too.
Yeah, all grains. Never feed ducks bread, though. I'm sorry.
Really?
Not to get off topic, but that's another story.
Well, that's what I've been doing all my life. I guess I have to change my ways. Oops. I thought I was doing a good thing.
That would be a good segment. Do
the next segment. Okay. Don't feed the ducks your leftover bread. Okay. And then also like pizza crust, things like that you're not going to use.
Pizza crust, pasta grains, any kinds of fruits and vegetables. You definitely have some don't adds, though. You don't add meat. You don't add grease. You don't add any kind of, grease or oils, meats. There's
fat, any like a fat?
Anything that is.
What about dairy?
No dairy. No dairy. No sour cream. No, you can add the egg shells, but not the contents of an egg. Okay, and but no sour cream, no milk, no cheese, nothing, no dairy at all. Because once you bring this material out to your compost bin, that will attract some critters that you may not want, between the raccoons and groundhogs and maybe some wild dogs getting in. They can make quite a mess, and it can be dangerous too.
Right.
So you don't want to.
So there's a do list and a don't list.
So make sure
pay attention to those. And also, really quickly, we're almost out of time, but we want to mention that you want to check with your waste management department to see if it's okay to compost in your home.
Some cities do not allow home composting because they have a critter problem, and they don't feel that maybe people can manage it or do it correctly. Say if you live in a high-rise apartment in a big city, this is probably not going to be for you, because where are you going to garden unless you have a community garden somewhere. But make sure that it's okay. The ordinance approves this kind of thing for your town where you live.
Well, this is how to get started, so we'll have the list of everything you can and can't compost and how to begin composting right in your own home. Thanks so much, Shari.
You're welcome.
Great advice, and for even more tips, you can visit us online at mymassappeal.com.